What up, everybody? Power Episode 1. After the opening night of Club Truth, Ghost was standing across the street looking at Truth, and he said, "You see that, Pop? I did it. Your boy did it." Then Tommy ran up on Ghost, and Ghost said to Tommy, "All the hustling for Breeze and Kanan, it brought us here," with a big smile on his face. Then said, "For two knuckleheads like us to make it in the city, that's no small." While Tommy was looking at the club with a confused look on his face after what Ghost just finished telling him, because they just lost $200K in a robbery the same night. Then later on the same episode, Ghost was having lunch with Angela, catching up, when Angela told Ghost, "You finally got your nightclub. Your dad would have been proud." And Ghost replied, "I told you about my father's nightclub. He lost the place before we met." Then fast forwarding all the way to Power Episode 610, Ghost needed a location for the QPC and went to see his Uncle Gabe about buying his father's bar in Queens. So just by the sound of things, Ghost's father had a club downtown similar to True, but then lost it, then bought another bar in Queens, which Ghost bought from his Uncle Gabe. The little bit else we know about Ghost's father is that he was a drunk. He was always preaching to Ghost about staying out of the streets, and he was killed by some young drug dealers who was trying to extort money from him in some type of way, but he ended up turning to the cops, so they killed him. Getting me to the big question, is Lulu Ghost's father? Because of course I had the thought after episode 3 when Lou first walked into the bar that was playing his father's song, but there was just too many question marks for me at the time. Because mainly the fact that Ghost's father's bar was in Queens, while the bar that Lulu is about to take over is in Manhattan. But after rewatching Power Episode 1, I see that it is completely possible that Lou and Marvin take over the bar in Manhattan, but end up losing the place one way or another and buying another spot in Queens, possibly even being a part of the plaza that Rock just finished buying in Episode 4. But the other question I had concerning this theory was the fact that it was said by Tommy Egan in an argument that he was having with Ghost at the end of Power Season 2 that Ghost had a drunk for a dad and no mom. And the fact that Lou wouldn't even know that he has a child right about now does challenge this theory. But because we don't really know all the details about what Tommy meant when he said that Ghost had no mom, except that you can tell that it really did bother Ghost. So what is the chances that Lou is actually Ghost's father from a relationship or a one-night stand that he had back when he was young or even in high school, and Ghost was born without Lou knowing anything about it? Then for one reason or another, Ghost's mother drops him off to Lou in some type of way, letting Lou know that he has a son, then abandoning Ghost, similar to how Kenya abandoned Jukebox and Marvin. Possibly because Ghost was a bad little kid and she couldn't handle him anymore on her own. Then this would explain why Ghost's last name is not Thomas if Lou is actually his father, because he was raised by his mother when he was a kid whose last name was St. Patrick, and he just kept his mother's last name when he went to live with his father, Lulu. It has also been reported that Ghost's father's name is Curtis, but we do have to keep in mind that that was never actually confirmed on the show. It might have only been said because 50 Cent, the creator of Power, real name is Curtis. But the thing is, if Lulu is Ghost's father, this would also mean that Uncle Gabe is actually Uncle Marvin, which would mean that Marvin would eventually at some point either change his name or start going by his middle name if it was Gabe. Getting me to, is there any proof of any of the Thomas family changing their names? And the answer is yes. We already know at some point in time, Jukebox is going to change her name. Her name right now is Laverne Thomas. But by the time Jukebox is a cop in Power, her name was Laverne Ganner, showing that for some reason Jukebox had her name changed. So Marvin also might have had to do the same thing, and even Lou might have had to change his name to Curtis. I could only speculate why the Thomas family would have to change their names, but if I had to make a guess about it, it would have something to do with Marvin killing Sal Baselli. Something tells me that Stefano acted outside of the 5 families with that one, and will act like he had nothing to do with it when the time comes down to it. So we have Lou becoming an alcoholic like Ghost's father. Check. Get into the nightclub / bar owning business like Ghost's father. Check. And there's a possibility that him and Marvin might have to change their names eventually. Getting me to some of the similarities between Ghost and Lulu. Season 1, before Lou started going soft, we can see that he was tactical and moved similar to Ghost. Lou has slowly began to become an alcoholic from the guilt of killing D-Wiz. Ghost had quit drinking for years after dealing with alcoholism as a kid, most likely after his father died and he moved in with Kate. Kate started giving Ghost liquor to cope, like we saw her offer Hennessy to Tariq in Ghost Season 3. But similar to Lou, after killing Rolla, Ghost relapsed and started drinking again. And at least Tariq considered his father an alcoholic. Another similarity would be the fact they both have a desire to get out of the drug game. While it seems like Lou might have made it out, Ghost was always fighting to make it out. Also keep in mind that both Ghost and Lulu have violent tempers. Keep in mind how Lou lost his temper and killed Crown Camacho. Or how he lost his temper and beat down the man at the bar. This is similar to how Ghost lost his temper and killed the marshal, or how he got drunk and choked out Councilman Tate. We even heard it said that Ghost's father was always preaching for Ghost to stay out the streets because you will either end up dead or in jail. And Lou has already started preaching the same type of stuff to Kanan when he got Javon out of jail. Also keep in mind how Marvin was talking about how much product he can move out of the new club. But Lou talked him out of it and said he wanted the place to be clean. Now keep in mind how Ghost's father was killed because he refused to work with some drug dealers in some type of way. This is beginning to sound a lot like Lou. And just a thought of how it might play out, D-Wiz's brother is revealed to be Breeze and finds out that Lulu killed his little brother. But instead of killing Lou, he tries to extort money out of Lou and his bar. But Lou says they will go broke and won't be able to afford the bar anymore, so he decides to talk to the cops. Either though Marvin told him not to, and Breeze kills Ghost's father for snitching. And that is part of the reason why Ghost killed Breeze. And also, before I go, take a look at how Marvin was smiling and laughing when they were talking to the bar owner. His smiling mannerisms reminded me a lot of Uncle Gabe. And because I know Marvin is a fan favorite, I know a lot of people would be happy if he survives and makes it out the game. And if Uncle Gabe is in fact Marvin, that means that Tariq potentially has a real one on his side if he ever needs any backup in Book 2 Ghost. And there you have it. Is Lulu Ghost's father? Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.